Have you ever thought about how a single microscopic organism could bring the entire world to a standstill? Well, that's precisely what happened when the novel coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, made its unwelcome debut in late 2019. This unseen enemy first emerged in the bustling city of Wuhan, in China. It was an ordinary day in an ordinary city until it wasn't. This virus, invisible to the naked eye, began to silently and steadily weave its way through the city's populace. Before long, it had jumped borders and oceans, leaving no corner of the globe untouched. In those initial days, the world looked on with a mix of confusion and disbelief. How could something so small, something we couldn't even see, wreak such havoc? The reality of our vulnerability began to sink in, and with it came a wave of panic. People around the globe watched as news reports flooded in, painting a picture of a world under siege. The daily routines we all took for granted suddenly became potential dangers. Grocery shopping, going to work, even a simple handshake became fraught with risk. Health organizations and governments scrambled to understand this new foe. It was clear we were dealing with something we hadn't quite seen before. This virus didn't discriminate. It didn't care about borders or nationalities. It was a truly global threat, and it was spreading faster than anyone could have anticipated. As the severity of the situation became apparent, so too did our collective anxiety. Fear and confusion reigned. Questions flooded our minds. How do we protect ourselves and our loved ones? How do we navigate this new and uncertain landscape? The answers were unclear and the future seemed daunting. Amidst the chaos, one thing was certain. Our lives were about to change in ways we could hardly imagine. The world was on the precipice of an era-defining moment, and so the world braced itself as the COVID-19 pandemic began to unfold. Imagine a world where bustling streets turned silent overnight, where the hustle and bustle of life as we knew it came to a sudden halt. This was the reality for millions of people across the globe as governments implemented lockdown measures to slow the relentless march of the virus. Suddenly, the rhythm of life skipped a beat. The once crowded streets teeming with life now lay deserted, echoing with the eerie silence of uncertainty. The world had gone into hibernation, a state of suspended animation. It was as though time itself had stopped to catch its breath. Lockdowns, a term previously associated with prison control measures, became a part of our daily vocabulary. Entire nations were asked to stay indoors, confining themselves to the four walls of their homes. The rapid spread of the virus had forced the world to hit the pause button, disrupting life as we knew it. The impact was far-reaching, affecting every facet of our lives. Economies around the world were hit hard, with businesses shutting down and unemployment rates soaring. The once thriving marketplaces turned into ghost towns, their silence a stark reminder of the invisible enemy we were battling. But it wasn't just the economy that took a hit. Our mental health suffered too. The isolation and the constant barrage of grim news took a toll on our collective psyche. The virus was not just attacking our bodies, but our minds as well. Yet amidst the chaos and uncertainty, humanity adapted. The way we worked, studied, and socialized underwent a seismic shift. Offices moved into living rooms, classrooms into bedrooms, and social gatherings into virtual meetups. Technology became our lifeline, connecting us in ways we hadn't imagined. Through it all, we learned to appreciate the small joys of life. A hot cup of coffee, a good book, the laughter of loved ones over a video call. We realized that even in the face of adversity, life could be lived, albeit differently. The world as we knew it had changed, transformed by a virus invisible to the naked eye. But amidst the upheaval, we discovered resilience, adaptability, and above all, the indomitable spirit of humanity. In the face of adversity, the human spirit fights back, doesn't it? When the world was gripped by the unseen enemy, an unprecedented response emerged. A global army of scientists, doctors, and researchers, united by a common goal, began to fight back. In the silent corridors of laboratories around the world, the battle against the invisible foe was waged. Scientists, burning the midnight oil, embarked on a relentless pursuit of a vaccine. This wasn't just a race against time, but a race against an adversary that was claiming lives, disrupting societies, and shattering economies. The search was arduous. It was fraught with challenges, setbacks, and trials. However, like an epic tale of triumph, the scientific community persevered. They were fueled by an unwavering commitment to humanity, a commitment that transcended borders and boundaries. They were not deterred by the enormity of the task at hand, but inspired by the prospect of saving millions of lives. The trials were rigorous, The process was meticulous. Every possible outcome was considered. Every potential risk was evaluated. The world watched on, hopeful and anxious, as the trials progressed. This was not just a scientific endeavor, it was a beacon of hope for humanity. And then, the breakthrough. The moment the world had been waiting for. Vaccines, developed in record time, were approved for emergency use. The elation was palpable. The world breathed a sigh of relief. The fight back had truly begun. The next challenge was to get these vaccines to the masses. Countries across the globe began mass vaccination programs. The logistics were complex, the scale was unprecedented, but the world rose to the challenge. Vaccination centers sprung up in cities and villages alike in a determined effort to arm humanity against the virus. In record time, humanity had armed itself with vaccines, ready to fight back. It was a testament to our collective resilience, our ability to unite in the face of adversity. It was a reminder that when we stand together, there is no challenge too great, no enemy too formidable. And so the fight back began, and it began with a vengeance. But what does the future hold in a post-pandemic world? As we begin to peek over the edge of the pandemic, we find ourselves standing on the threshold of a new era. We find ourselves in the new normal. This new normal isn't just a phrase, it's a reality we're living every day. It's a reality that has been shaped by our collective experience, marked by continued mask wearing and social distancing. Remember when we used to walk into grocery stores without a mask? Or when we used to shake hands upon meeting someone? It seems like a distant memory now. Masks have become as common as the clothes we wear, a vital accessory that helps keep us, and those around us, safe. Social distancing, too, has become ingrained in our daily lives. We've learned to respect personal space, not out of discomfort, but out of concern for one another's health. And then there's the changes to our work and school environments. Many of us have swapped office desks for dining tables and school classrooms for bedroom desks. We've become adept at juggling work calls with household chores and school assignments with sibling squabbles. It's a balancing act that we've mastered out of necessity. But amidst all these changes, there's also been progress. The ongoing vaccination efforts across the globe have been nothing short of remarkable. Vaccines have become our beacon of hope, our shield against the virus. They've brought us closer to the concept of herd immunity, where a large part of the population becomes immune to a disease, making its spread unlikely. This new normal shaped by the pandemic isn't about losing our old ways. It's about adapting, evolving, and growing. It's about understanding the importance of our actions, how they can impact not just us, but those around us too. It's about realizing that we're all in this together, that our collective efforts can help us overcome even the biggest challenges. As we move forward, we carry the lessons of the pandemic with us, shaping our new normal. What can we learn from this unprecedented time in history? The first lesson from the pandemic is the critical importance of global cooperation. It's a reminder that we share this planet and its challenges, and that no nation can stand alone in the face of a global crisis. Our interconnected world requires us to work together, putting aside differences and focusing on our common goals. The swift development of vaccines would not have been possible without international collaboration, demonstrating the power of unity in overcoming adversity. Next, the pandemic has underscored the value of health and scientific research. It has brought home the reality that health is not just an individual concern, but a collective one. Our well-being is intertwined with that of our neighbors, our community, and indeed, the world. This period has also shown a spotlight on the crucial role of science in society. It is scientific research that has guided our understanding of the virus, informed our response, and ultimately given us the tools to combat it. The pandemic is a compelling reminder that investing in science and health is investing in our future. Finally, the resilience of communities stands out as a key lesson. Across the globe, people have shown remarkable adaptability and strength. From neighborhood support networks to innovative business pivots, we've seen an inspiring demonstration of human resilience. We've learned that in times of crisis, our strength lies in our ability to adapt, to innovate, and most importantly, to care for one another. It's a lesson about the power of community and the human spirit that we must carry forward. In sum, the pandemic has been a harsh teacher, but it has also provided valuable lessons. It has illustrated the importance of global cooperation, highlighted the value of health and scientific research, and demonstrated the resilience of communities. These lessons are not just for this crisis, but for the challenges we will face in the future. The pandemic has taught us that we are more resilient than we ever imagined. How do we move on from such a significant global event? That's the question we're all grappling with as we navigate this road to recovery. It's a journey that involves not only rebuilding our economies, but also supporting our collective mental health and restoring some semblance of normality. Recovery is a multifaceted process. Economically, it calls for innovative strategies to bolster industries hit hardest by the pandemic. Governments, businesses, and individuals alike are reimagining the ways we work, trade, and invest. There's a renewed focus on sustainability, on building economies that are resilient in the face of future crises. But economic recovery is just one piece of the puzzle. We also need to address the mental health crisis that has been exacerbated by the pandemic. Isolation, loss, and fear have taken a significant toll on our collective well-being. So, we're seeing an uptick in resources devoted to mental health services, a push for better understanding and stigma reduction. We're recognizing the importance of connection, of community, of taking care of our minds as well as our bodies. Another aspect of recovery is learning how to live with the virus. We're becoming adept at balancing safety measures with the need for social interaction and economic activity. It's about finding a new equilibrium, one that allows us to protect ourselves and our communities without completely isolating ourselves from each other. At the same time, efforts to control the virus continue. Vaccination campaigns are ramping up worldwide, and research into the virus and its variants is ongoing. We're better prepared now than we were at the start of the pandemic, and we're constantly learning, constantly adapting. And as we do all of this, we're also working to prevent future pandemics. We're investing in scientific research, in public health infrastructure, in global cooperation. We're learning from our mistakes, and we're making changes to ensure we're better prepared next time. As we tread on the path of recovery, we remember the lessons of the pandemic, carrying them as a beacon for the future. So, what is the story of the COVID-19 pandemic? Well, it began as a tale of an unseen enemy, a microscopic virus that originated from a corner of the world and quickly spread across countries and continents. It was an adversary like no other, invisible to the naked eye, but leaving visible trails of devastation in its wake. This was an enemy that did not distinguish between borders, race, or social status. It was a global crisis that demanded a global response. The world as we knew it was put on hold. Entire cities, once bustling with life, became eerily silent as lockdowns were implemented. Homes transformed into offices, classrooms, and sanctuaries as we adapted to a new way of living. The world of human touch and face-to-face interactions was replaced by virtual meetings and digital connections. The pandemic, in its own twisted way, forced us to rethink our way of life. But in the face of adversity, humanity fought back. Scientists and researchers around the world raced against time to understand this novel virus, to develop tests, to create vaccines. Healthcare workers became our frontline soldiers, risking their own lives to save others. Communities rallied together to support each other, showing that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit shines bright. As we navigated through the storm, we began to adapt to a new normal. Masks and sanitizers became everyday essentials. Social distancing became a common practice. Despite the challenges, we found ways to work, to learn, to connect, and to thrive. We discovered the importance of mental health, of self-care, and of community. We realized that even in isolation, we were not alone. The pandemic has undoubtedly left its mark on us. There were lessons to be learned about our health systems, our societies, our planet. We learned about the importance of preparedness, of science, of unity in the face of a common enemy. We realized the value of life, of health, of time. We understood that in a world so interconnected, the health of one is the health of all. Now, we are on the road to recovery. Vaccines are being administered, economies are opening up, and life is slowly but surely returning to a semblance of normalcy. It's a journey, a long and arduous one, but one that we are undertaking together. We are rebuilding, we are healing, we are moving forward. The story of the pandemic is not just a story of a virus. It's a story of humanity, of resilience and hope, of strength and unity. It's a story of how we faced a global crisis, of how we adapted, how we learned, how we grew. It's a story that has shaped our present and will undoubtedly shape our future. The story of the pandemic is one of resilience and hope, a testament to the indomitable human spirit. It is a story that will be told for generations to come.
Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe.